Today's video is about planting more tomatoes. I'm going to clean up this space and get it ready for planting. I'm using the metal base for an old trampoline. I'm recycling it and repurposing it as supports for my tomato plants. I have to dig deep holes for the 1 gallon gopher baskets that I put in before I plant the tomatoes. This hopefully will keep the gophers from eating my tomato plants. The ground here is very sandy, so it's fairly easy to dig through. These are fairly easy to push into the ground, but I did have trouble at this one end where I had to use the shovel to help me out. I'm feeling pressured to get these tomatoes in the ground. Since it's the beginning of July, I feel like I'm very late to the tomato game. These are super fantastic tomatoes that I started from seed. Look at those roots. I have them growing in these pots, and I have my fertilizer and my mycorrhiza that I'm going to add to the hole. Each hole is going to get a little dose of mycorrhiza, which stimulates the root growth, and some tomato fertilizer in the bottom mixed into the soil. And that's it. No special soil. I have very basic sandy soil, not super nutrient dense. I will add some grow mulch and some mulch on top at a later time to help with water retention. Since my soil is sandy, it just runs right out of the soil, the water does. But here I am, just sticking the tomatoes in the hole, in the gopher baskets, covering them up, wishing them well. To prepare the seedlings, I take off the lower leaves on the stem and I plant them a little deeper where those leaves were. This encourages roots to sprout out of the little hairs on the main stem of the plant. I mix in that fertilizer, push in the soil around it, kind of mounding it up on the stem. I also leave a ring around the edge of the gopher basket and the plant so that I can give it a good watering. I like to flood my tomatoes slowly so that the water can seep in since the soil is so sandy. If you have clay soil, I don't recommend this method, but for my soil, it works pretty well. These yellow flowers are rudbeckia that I started from seed last year. The purple flowers are status that I also started from seed. So as you can see, I have 6 tomato plants lined up by the trampoline posts, and then I had extra seedlings, so this is where I'm planting the extra ones in these really tiny mesh gopher bags. They're not my favorite. They're kind of tricky to work with, and you can't really use them very easily the next year, but I don't want to waste the tomato plants, so I'm going to see how they turn out. I keep moving my hose from tomato to tomato, flooding each circle around the plant, and I'm getting these tiny tomato seedlings all cleaned up, ready to be planted. I'd love to hear from you guys. What tomato varieties are you planting this summer, this year in your garden? Do you like to add mycorrhiza in your hole? I always end up trying to call it mitochondria, but that's not what it is. It's mycorrhiza. But anyways, let me know in the comments if you're growing tomatoes this year or if you even like tomatoes. Some may wonder what I'm going to do with all these tomatoes that I'm going to hopefully get off of these plants. and I'm not sure. Last year in this area of my garden, I also planted zucchini and yellow squash and golden zucchini, which was really delicious, as well as corn. And I tried cucumbers, but they didn't seem to like to be next to my tomatoes. This year, I would like to grow more squash, but I've discovered that in addition to gophers, I have some voles that have moved into the area, and they're not as easy to deter as the gophers are. If you have any tips or tricks to get the voles to leave, let me know. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to get an outside cat to deal with them. My dog will get the gophers, but I haven't seen her catch a vole yet. Anyways, I'm almost finished watering the brand new seedlings that have been planted, and I'm just going to move my fencing so that my dog will not lay on my plants. She likes to lay right where I've dug and squish the plants. So I have to fence in the garden area that I don't want her to go in to protect the plants. The black cloth that you see me moving is actually the trampoline pad from the old trampoline. I fold it up and I use it as a path and a weed barrier. When you make a fence for your garden, it doesn't have to be fancy. I use old random pieces of fencing material that have been from leftover projects, and I use T-stakes or even the straight poles from the trampoline, and I just push them or hammer them into the ground, and I use wire or zip ties to attach the fencing to the stakes.